How do entrepreneurs know when to quit their day job to start their business? All entrepreneurial decisions are experiments based on hypotheses with too little data. The way entrepreneurs know things is by running the experiment and finding out the results empirically. This represents the big difference between entrepreneurial mindset and more typical levels of risk adversity. More typically cautious people insist on knowing before deciding. Insufficient data about their specific future results can leave them perpetually sidelined. They remain in an envelope of just those opportunities whose future values are well known and safe. The entrepreneur can encounter many more negative results than the risk-adverse person can. But they also believe that through repeated experimentation and adjustments that they can, and God willing, will discover more rewarding opportunities that don't show up on the risk-adverse person's radar screens. This explains why there are so many struggling entrepreneurs, and successes are so rare. I have always been struck by a parallel between a quote by a California 49er miner who discovered one of the single largest nuggets of the gold rush, and something Thomas Edison said. The miner was asked, "How did you know where to find that big nugget?" He replied that he had trekked all over gold country along various different streams, enduring hardships for a year and had not found anything more than a few flakes of gold while panning. Having not discovered gold in the streams, and not in any pit mines he dug, he realized it must be somewhere else. And that's when he found it, just sitting on top of the ground, among a bunch of stones in a long dry riverbed. Thomas Edison was similarly asked how he discovered the long-lasting filament that made the electric light practical. He replied that he did so by first trying 999 other possibilities that didn't work. People who want to know where to search for nuggets, or which filament will be long-lasting before they start work, are not the ones who ever start looking, and aren't the ones who will find the undiscovered opportunity. Those who try and give up after just 10 failed experiments, or merely one, aren't the ones who will find them either. But there were thousands more 49ers who never found any significant gold than those who found even one sizable nugget. And a lot of inventors seeking filaments who never discovered what Edison did. Dogged determination in the face of multiple, failed, experiments is a necessary, but not sufficient, condition for success in searching for solutions in the unknown. Entrepreneurs able to sustain such effort must have either great certainty that eventually their vision will succeed, or that they are clever enough to keep finding new alternatives until they find the right one, or the willingness to die trying. Or maybe a combination of all three. Those who are smart enough to keep working, reduce their monthly living expenses, and start saving up money while they validate their idea and organize a plan will know when to quit their day job. The ones who are personally convinced their idea is the hottest concept since sliced bread and believe they know what they're doing will jump ship at the first opportunity. The ones who lost their job, for whatever reason, and are convinced they're smarter than those who put him in this position, will try to launch a new business, and unless they're exceptionally lucky they will end up looking for a new job, which is what they should have done to begin with. It depends upon 1. Inclination to risk of each entrepreneur. 2. Solidity of the business model. 3. Availability of initial funding. 4. Economical convenience versus other factors such as quality of life, feeling of accomplishment, pride, self-realization, etc. In my case the decision was triggered by point 4, the frustration level reached working in a company whose values and principles changed due to new management, and where experience, honesty and ethic, professionalism, and respect have been substituted with arrogance and careerism. My inclination to risk was low, but I had a good initial funding protecting me for years to come, and the business model was good enough. As we know, entrepreneur thinks from all perspectives before taking decisions. Though that decision is right or wrong, but they always takes decision and try to prove it right. Entrepreneurs are basically risk takers. So comes to your question, yes, entrepreneur takes decision based on their responsibilities. Responsibilities of their dream, family, society and environment. Based on above-mentioned segments and priorities they takes the decisions when to serve back to the society, when to follow their dreams, when to give it back to family and environment in which they are living. To start the business, entrepreneurs must check and validate their business idea by doing it part-time, and if it is feasible or sees any market potential then quit the job.